Good, happy Wednesday morning, April 8th, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday morning, so let's begin. First up, New Hampshire health officials announced 4 additional deaths related to COVID-19. 32 new cases announced Tuesday. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
At Beltate's, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltate's Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
We have some breaking news to start the evening. 4 new deaths connected to the coronavirus here in New Hampshire. Good evening. I'm Mike Cherry.
And I'm Monica Hernandez. The state says all were over the age of 60. Now, the total number of deaths is now 13. There were also 32 new positive test results. So far, 747 people have tested positive for COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 211 have recovered.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Now let's take a look at your coronavirus disease, COVID-19 in New Hampshire. What you need to know. COVID-19 in New Hampshire. Let's take a look. And here are the numbers of COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 747 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,426,096 number of people worldwide who have tested positive. 13 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 108 number of people hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 12,722 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. And this map of New Hampshire shows the cases of COVID-19 in the towns and cities of New Hampshire. Manchester, 123 cases of COVID-19. And this graph right here, new cases each day in New Hampshire. In the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations. And in the red are the deaths. Common symptoms: fever, cough, and difficult breathing. How it spreads. And prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network on the latest of your COVID-19 information. Sununu establishes special office to oversee use of federal COVID-19 settlement funds. Bipartisan Legislative Advisory Board also created to ensure transparency, input, Governor says. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
Join Girls Inc. of New Hampshire to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. You can take part in our Girls Inc. 2020 initiative.
Federal funding from the coronavirus relief package is arriving in the Granite State.
The initial state fund is at least $1.25 billion. There's another about $158 million that Senator Shaheen's office and our office have identified in additional funds.
Now, Governor Chris Sununu wants to form an oversight board to track how that money is spent.
Are we making sure that it's dispersed geographically, economically? Are we making sure it gets to the small towns as well as the larger cities?
On Tuesday, the governor sent this letter announcing the formation of the governor's office for emergency relief and recovery. Members will be tasked with the accounting, auditing, legal, and IT requirements tied to federal COVID-19 dollars, like the CARES Act. According to the letter, these 8 legislators were invited to serve on the board. The governor telling News 9 it will operate similar to a 2009 stimulus office created by former Governor Lynch, with the goal of ensuring local businesses and nonprofits get the financial help they need.
Whoever has really been affected by the COVID crisis, we want to make sure that the state has the funds available to release very quickly and put them back on the right track.
But with more than $1 billion on the table, the governor says the state needs to maintain metrics and accountability and watch closely for fraud and waste. He hopes to make it easy for the public to follow along.
We want transparency to be a real big fundamental piece of this, which is why we're bringing this legislative advisory group together.
And the governor says he hopes to get that new office up and running within the next week. Reporting live in Concord, Tyler Dumont, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. City of Manchester implements hiring freeze, launches recovery loan fund for small businesses. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Manchester Mayor Joyce Craig says the scope of the economic impact on the city is unknown, but adds it's important to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best.
We feel confident that we're in good shape this fiscal year because we've just been doing so well up until most recently. But we need to be, cautious in terms of going forward next year and fiscally responsible.
Tonight, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen voted to launch the Manchester Small Business Recovery Loan Fund to help small businesses recover from COVID-19.
It's a partnership between the City of Manchester and the Manchester Development Corporation. Each of us will be contributing $500,000, so there'll be $1 million available to small businesses.
Craig also outlined plans for the immediate future. Along with a hiring freeze, all non-essential spending is now on hold, and public works projects already approved are getting another look.
We will continue with facilities maintenance, fixing of vehicles, IT support to provide services to residents of the City of Manchester. But for those non-essential things that don't need to be purchased right now, we will be holding off on.
Craig says critical positions like police and firefighters will still be filled if approved by the mayor. And the mayor is also working with the governor's office on a plan to distribute federal funds. Tonight, she is also thanking city residents for their patience during this very difficult time. We're live here in Manchester. I'm Tim Calorie, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. With fewer crashes, car insurance companies pass savings to drivers. Allstate, Liberty Mutual offer savings for customers. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
Join Girls Inc. of New Hampshire to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. You can take part in our Girls Inc. 2020 initiative. Dan O'Donnell owns a local Allstate agency office in Manchester and has been busy connecting with his clients to hear about their concerns during this pandemic.
It mostly comes down to them paying their bills. People just are out of work. They're having a tough time getting the unemployment.
To help, Allstate is allowing customers to delay their car insurance payments.
So that's where the long grace period comes in. We give them a few months to get caught on their feet and kind of figure it out as this goes, because it's evolving every day.
The insurance company is offering some cash back as well.
Our company is actually giving a 15% credit back for the months of April and May for auto because there's so many fewer claims out there with a few cars on the road.
Governor Chris Sununu says Liberty Mutual Insurance has also announced similar plans to help Granite State drivers.
That's an awesome opportunity for not just the citizens of the state, but we're also asking the other insurance companies to hopefully follow in suit. There's less folks on the road, there's less accidents happening, there's less claims right now, and those proceeds, those benefits should be returned back to the consumer.
The New Hampshire Insurance Department says if drivers have questions or concerns about their individual policy, they should contact their agent directly.
Companies are responding in different ways on a company-by-company basis.
And if you can't find that information, call the state directly. You can find that information on our website, WMUR.com. Reporting live in Manchester, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Social service agencies urge people to reach out before skipping rent payments. Solutions might be available to avoid having to make up skipped payments. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
In this life, there are only so many things you can count on.
So far, I'm eerily quiet, which makes me worry.
Portsmouth's welfare director is concerned that the 90-day pause in evictions may catch up with folks who put off paying rent, people who may be new to needing social services, including many in the service industry here.
They don't even know we're here. They don't know we're here. They don't know what we can do. And they think that, well, I'll wait for my stimulus check. I'll wait for my unemployment. I'll wait. But don't wait. Don't wait for all those things.
Welfare offices may be able to pay rent and connect to other services to tide people over, like fuel, electric, and food assistance offered by community action programs.
It's easier to help people kind of keep the hole from being dug as opposed to helping them dig out of the hole. If the rent climbs to 3 months worth of back payments, that's not impossible to do, but that puts the landlord in a difficult situation. It's he or she has a mortgage to pay.
Steve Pasco manages 50 units in southern New Hampshire and has been connecting tenants to resources, too.
We understand it's not your fault, but it's not our fault. Let's work together and find a way to make everybody come out whole.
The message from agencies is that we can't control what's happening right now, but assistance can help guide decisions that we make moving forward that can make a lasting difference. We're live in Portsmouth. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Concord DMV closed Wednesday after employee tests positive for COVID-19. Staff members does not have contact with public during business day, officials say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
We have less than 100 dairy farms left in New Hampshire. Tell your grocer today to carry milk with New Hampshire's own logo.
You can't get any more local than buying it from the farmer.
Please help save our farms.
Concord DMV says it will be closed tomorrow. That will allow for enhanced cleaning after an employee tested positive for COVID-19. Officials say the staff member did not have contact with the public during the business day. The DMV is reaching out to customers to reschedule appointments and will resume appointment-only and drop-box services Thursday.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Stock features point to flat open after a volatile session for the market. U.S. stock features in early morning trade pointed to a largely unchanged open on Wednesday, continuing a volatile week for the stocks gripped by the coronavirus shutdown. The latest, more than 1,800 Americans died in just 24 hours, marking it the deadliest day of the coronavirus outbreak. More concerning figures are coming from the African American communities being hit hard by the pandemic. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC World News.
New signs of hope as America wages war against the coronavirus.
The number of people entering the hospital here in New York is slowing down. However, the death toll is not. Here's a look at the map. New York is now reporting more than 5,400 deaths. New Jersey, more than 1,200, followed by Michigan and Louisiana. And several states are now reporting between 200 and 500 deaths, including California, Illinois, and Florida.
Here in New York, supplies are being brought into a cathedral that's being turned into a field hospital. Data shows the state is reaching a plateau, but on Tuesday, the state averaged about one death every 2 minutes.
In Los Angeles, a new rule when it comes to wearing a non-medical mask. Beginning Friday, essential workers and their customers, including those at grocery stores, will be required to wear them. ABC's Megan Tavrizian reports on the other new developments this morning. As the coronavirus death toll approaches 13,000 people nationwide, African Americans are being hit especially hard. In Chicago, they comprise 30% of the population, but now account for 72% of deaths.
It's not that they're getting infected more often.
But Dr. Anthony Fauci warning Americans not to stigmatize any group, emphasizing that pre-existing conditions are causing the worst outcomes for minorities.
Their underlying medical conditions, the diabetes, the hypertension, the obesity, the asthma, those are the kind of things that wind them up in the ICU and ultimately give them a higher death rate.
Meanwhile, in New York, the state's suffering its worst 24 hours yet, with more than 700 deaths in a single day.
That's 731 people who we lost. Behind every one of those numbers is an individual, is a family, is a mother, is a father, is a sister, is a brother.
But the governor expressing hope, saying the hospitalization rate is going down.
You see that plateauing, that's because of what we are doing. If we don't do what we are doing, that is a much different curve.
It comes as part of Louisiana reports a death rate that's more than double that of New York City's. The state now getting more of those critical ventilators.
Just because we think we're starting to flatten the curve doesn't mean our job is over. And in fact, now is the time to double down.
The president saying Tuesday that all 8,600 ventilators in the national stockpile will be available to states that need them, and 110,000 will be ready in the coming weeks, before indicating he may cut off funding to the World Health Organization.
Because you know what? They called it wrong, and if you look back over the years even, they're very much, everything seems to be very biased toward China. That's not right.
He also responded to reports that trade advisor Peter Navarro issued a dire warning to the White House in a memo back in January, stressing that COVID-19 could cause hundreds of thousands of deaths and cause massive economic damage.
It didn't matter whether I saw it or not because I acted on my own. I guess I had the same instincts as Peter.
The president says he took swift action to shut down travel from China around the same time Navarro wrote that memo. But critics point out the president continued to downplay the risk of the virus well after the memo was sent. Kenneth, Mona.
All right, Megan, thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday morning, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.